GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action.
Good evening. A 45-car freight train derailed north of the city today, but thankfully no injuries. Meanwhile, water usage stays steady despite the early July heat, and the old Montreal pedestrian zone plan is under review. Traffic is moving smoothly on the expressways. Over to you, Emma.
The Beyond Opinion seminar begins Thursday, offering 3 days of community conversations at the Maison de la Culture, featuring local writers, artists, and activists.
Sessions run from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., with morning panels on urban storytelling and evening workshops on collaborative art projects open to all residents.
Admission is free, and participants receive a complimentary booklet. Light refreshments are provided during each coffee break throughout the 3-day program.
We have a full lineup of stories awaiting, but before we dive into the evening, let's begin together tonight now. Good evening, Montreal. Earlier today, a freight train carrying 45 cars left the rails on a line north of the city. Officials confirmed that no one was injured and that the derailed cars did not release any hazardous material. Emergency crews quickly secured the site and evacuated residents in the immediate vicinity as a precaution. The rail operator has halted traffic on the corridor, while investigators from provincial transport authorities begin a formal inquiry into the cause. Preliminary reports indicate the train remained intact despite the derailment, and there were no fuel or chemical leaks. Local authorities have asked nearby neighborhoods to remain alert while cleanup and safety checks proceed. Residents were advised to stay indoors until the area was declared safe by the fire department. The investigation will assess track conditions and mechanical factors before service can safely resume.
The city's water department reports that demand has held steady despite the early July heat wave sweeping the island. While temperatures have pushed many to run air conditioners and fill pools, residential usage has not shown a noticeable spike. Officials say the steadiness is crucial as crews work on a weakened main pipe that remains out of service. The municipality continues to urge households to limit showers, laundry cycles, and outdoor watering until repairs are completed. Engineers warn that the aging conduit could burst under prolonged high demand, potentially forcing emergency shutoffs. City spokespersons stress that each liter saved helps keep pressure stable and protects neighborhoods from service interruptions while the summer heat lingers. The appeal remains in effect as work progresses through the season. Residents in the Plateau and Verdun neighborhoods have reported lower than usual meter readings, reflecting the collective effort.
The city administration has ordered a fresh review of the controversial Kingdom of Pedestrians scheme in Old Montreal, tasking the Urban Planning Service with drafting a comprehensive plan that eases traffic snarls while preserving vehicle access through the historic streets. The project, first championed by former Mayor Valérie Plante, aimed to turn the core of Old Town into a largely car-free zone. Mayor Soria Martinez-Ferrada's team says the new assessment will balance pedestrian safety with the need to keep deliveries and resident traffic flowing. Officials stress that the review will consider alternative routing, timed access, and infrastructure tweaks to calm congestion without erasing the district's charm. The Urban Planning Service is expected to present its findings before the end of the summer, signaling a shift toward a more flexible mobility approach in the heritage area.
Residents of the Villeray-Saint-Michel Park Extension Borough gathered on Monday morning to demand that the city and Tennis Canada overhaul the proposed redevelopment of Gerry Park. The plan, unveiled earlier this year, calls for expanded tennis facilities and a reconfiguration of existing fields. Local families and youth baseball teams argue the design overlooks the park's long-standing role as a neighborhood playground and a venue for organized baseball. They are asking officials to incorporate more open space for community sports and to preserve the baseball diamonds that host dozens of young players each season. City representatives have said they will review the feedback, while Tennis Canada has not yet issued a formal response. Community groups plan a public forum next week to present alternative designs and gather broader input. Organizers hope the meeting will influence the final plan before construction begins later this year.
Hydro-Quebec has announced a plan to add 35,000 paid positions in communities outside the province's major cities by 2035. The recruitment drive targets smaller towns and rural areas across Quebec, including locations such as Drainville. A provincial government spokesperson said the province must intensify efforts to promote the advantages of regional living. Funding will come from Hydro-Quebec's capital budget, focusing on renewable energy, grid upkeep, and customer service. The government will work with municipalities to align housing and services with the new workforce. Officials expect the new jobs to be distributed over the next 12 years, creating employment opportunities far from Montreal and Quebec City. The government's call for stronger marketing of rural life comes as the utility moves forward with its hiring target. Coming up, we'll break down how Quebec students will check their ministry exam results online this Tuesday. Plus more, we will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that break. Up next, Emma Leclair brings us the local stories shaping our neighborhoods tonight, right after this.
Emma Leclair, the Ministry of Education is set to roll out this year's provincial exam results online for the first time. Starting tomorrow, students across the province will be able to log into a government authentication portal and view their scores instantly, rather than waiting for the usual mailed notices. Officials say the digital rollout aims to speed up access and cut down on paperwork, letting families see results as soon as they're posted. The new system requires each student to verify their identity through the secure service before the marks appear. Education leaders hope the change will simplify the end-of-year process for teachers, parents, and the students themselves. Keep an eye on your email or the ministry's website tomorrow to see if you've met the thresholds for your next steps.
Quebec's government has announced the end of its long-standing freeze on converting land for farming. Starting in January 2027, a new regulation will permit the expansion of agricultural acreage across the province. The policy shift reverses a moratorium that had barred any new farmland development for several years, a move officials say will help address supply concerns and support local growers. The Ministry of Agriculture will oversee applications, requiring an environmental assessment for each parcel. Farmers and landowners can now submit requests to reclassify eligible land, potentially opening thousands of hectares to cultivation and creating new jobs in rural areas. Critics argue the change could pressure natural habitats, while industry groups welcome the added flexibility. The decision arrives as provincial leaders seek to boost food security and rural economies, marking a significant adjustment to Quebec's land use strategy.
Air Liaison has filed a legal challenge against the provincial government after the Ministry of Transport abruptly ended the airline's financial assistance. The carrier says the termination came without any notice or prior consultation, violating the terms of the original support agreement. The dispute, which began on Monday morning, remains unresolved as both parties prepare for court proceedings. Officials from the Transport Ministry acknowledged the decision but declined to comment on the timing. For travelers, the outcome could affect ticket prices and flight availability, especially on routes that relied on provincial subsidies. The airline stresses that the sudden loss of funding threatens its ability to maintain current schedules and keep fares affordable. Airline employees and associated service providers fear job cuts if the funding gap persists. The case now proceeds through the legal system, with both sides awaiting a judicial ruling.
2 young adults are now in critical condition after a rescue attempt on the Latching Canal on July 4th. Emergency crews were called when one person slipped into the historic waterway, a popular spot for cyclists and walkers. A second individual jumped in to try to pull the victim out, and both were pulled from the water by first responders. Paramedics rushed them to hospital, where doctors say their injuries are severe. Montreal officials confirmed the incident and said an investigation is underway to determine how the fall occurred. The accident occurred 2 days ago, and the canal, a historic waterway, often draws families for weekend outings. The canal, which sees heavy recreational use, will remain closed while safety checks are completed. Residents are reminded that the waterway's currents can be strong, especially in summer heat.
Summer McIntosh shattered the world record in the 200-meter butterfly on Saturday at the Canadian swimming trials in Montreal. Her time eclipsed the previous mark of 2 minutes 9 seconds, setting a new global standard. The achievement came as the national qualifying meet wrapped up, determining the team for upcoming international competitions. McIntosh, already a household name in Canadian swimming, delivered the record-breaking swim in front of a packed pool deck, sparking cheers from spectators. Local fans celebrated the milestone, confident it strengthens Canada's medal chances. Officials confirmed the time met all criteria for ratification. The performance adds a fresh highlight to a meet that also saw several athletes secure spots for next year's World Championships. As the trials conclude, swimmers now turn their focus toward training camps and the next stage of competition.
Let's get a look at your evening forecast with our meteorologist for tonight.
Steady high pressure under a swift western, jet stream locks in clear skies, and midsummer heat. On this day, the city sweltered to 34 degrees Celsius, in 2025, a record set during a persistent heat wave that pushed the province into its hottest July stretch. The coldest reading for July 6th came at 14.7 degrees Celsius in 2020, when an unusually strong Arctic dip slipped south, blanketing the island in frost. Normal highs hover around 30 degrees and lows near 19, so both extremes sit well outside the climatological average significantly. The live radar shows a completely quiet return with no echoes across the province. A shallow, dry air mass sits beneath the high-pressure ridge, and the western jet streams aloft are moving briskly but without any embedded disturbances. That stable configuration means no showers will develop, and the clear sky will persist over Montreal through the night. I now turn to tonight's outlook. At 6 p.m. Montreal sits at 27 degrees Celsius under a mainly clear sky, humidity 25%, and a gentle southeast breeze of 8 kilometers per hour. The atmosphere is dominated by near-average pressure that is holding steady, so the ridge that has been capping the region shows no sign of weakening. Overhead, the jet stream races westward at roughly 108 kilometers per hour, steering any upper-level disturbances far to the north. With the sun setting around 8:45, temperatures will dip to 18 degrees overnight, while the UV index reads 7. No precipitation is expected, and there are no active weather alerts. That brings us to the 5-day overview. Tomorrow the high will climb to 29 degrees with a low of 18, and the sky will remain clear as the high pressure continues to dominate. Wednesday brings a modest rise to 30 degrees, low 19, and partly cloudy conditions as a weak frontal boundary nudges the western flow, adding a thin veil of clouds. Thursday sees the first measurable rain, with a high of 31 and low 20, and a 35% chance of showers as the jet stream dips south, allowing a moist airstream to slide in. Friday follows with a cooler high of 25, low 18, and a 45% rain chance as the trough deepens. Saturday rounds out the period with a high of 26, low 17, overcast skies and lingering drizzle, the ridge finally flattening. No severe alerts are in force. And that's your weather. Remember, the local sunset is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic updates, a look at the Beyond Opinion 3-day seminar, and the latest on our sports action. We will be right back.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches. No middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
All major arteries are moving freely this afternoon. No accidents or road closures have been reported on the Autoroute 6, Autoroute 15, or the Boulevard Saint Laurent. Traffic on the Rue St. Catherine eastbound remains light and the downtown loop is clear. The bridge over the St. Lawrence shows no delays and the commuter rail lines are operating on schedule. Drivers can expect a steady flow through the evening rush, with the Autoroute 6 picking up a moderate pace after 6 o'clock. The Boulevard Saint Laurent may see a slight build-up near the interchange with Rue de la Mountain as the day progresses. If you're heading west on the Autoroute 15, expect a gradual increase in volume around the Claudette exit. Overall, conditions are favorable, so you can plan your route with confidence. Evening commuters should allow 5 minutes near the Pont de la Confédération as traffic thickens. Parking on St. Catherine remains abundant, but circulation slows near the bus terminal after 7 o'clock.
Montreal's jazz heartbeat continues at the Festival International de Jazz, filling venues citywide and the streets with world-class improvisation and spontaneous jam sessions, perfect for a summer night out. Whether you're a longtime fan or a curious newcomer, the open-air stages and surprise collaborations make every set feel fresh. The fireworks competition lights up La Ronde each evening, with dazzling displays from teams around the globe, turning the skyline into a canvas of color. Families and night owls alike gather on the boardwalk to watch the pyrotechnic battles, a perfect backdrop for a summer evening. Tonight at 6, the Norwood Seventh-day Adventist Church opens its doors to Beyond Opinion, a free 3-day community seminar inviting residents to explore ideas and dialogue in a welcoming setting. Looking ahead, the Quartier des Spectacles will transform from the 7th of July with the Festival International Nuits d'Afrique, a 4-week celebration of African, Caribbean, and Latin rhythms that promises street parties, dance, and cultural immersion. And now here's Jason with sports.
Here's the latest on Montreal's teams, from the pitch to the ice. CBC Sports Soccer reports that Evelyn Badu delivered a hat trick as the Montreal Roses overwhelmed Vancouver Rise, posting a 5-1 victory in the Northern Super League on Saturday. The offensive display highlighted the Roses' attacking depth and gave them a strong boost in league positioning. CBC Sports NHL confirms the Montreal Canadiens have dealt veteran forward Brendan Gallagher to the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for future considerations. The move ends Gallagher's tenure in Montreal, opening a roster spot and signaling a shift in the Canadiens' forward lineup heading into the upcoming season. Montreal honored officially forward Brendan Gallagher with honorary citizenship at City Hall on Thursday afternoon, June 25. The ceremony recognized his contributions to the Canadiens and the community, cementing his lasting legacy beyond the rink. Goaltending legend Carey Price was elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame, joining the 2026 class alongside Pekka Rinne, Keith Tkachuk, and Cindy Curley. The Montreal native's induction underscores his lasting impact on the franchise.
PME-MTL, the province-wide support network headquartered in the Plateau and active in every borough from Verdun to Rosemont, is at the heart of Montreal's entrepreneurial pulse. The city announced a $36.7 million investment to renew its partnership with the PME-MTL network, allowing it to keep delivering low-interest loans, targeted grants, and hands-on coaching to small and medium enterprises across the island. With this boost, local cafes, tech startups, and artisanal workshops gain the breathing room to weather economic uncertainty and to scale sustainably. It's a reminder that when Montreal backs its own makers, neighborhoods thrive and the city's character deepens. It also funds mentorship circles linking seasoned founders with budding innovators, stitching together the city's entrepreneurial fabric. And now a bright note, PME-MTL is channeling $36.7 million into local economic development. Stay tuned.
If you run a venue, a comedy night, a concert, a fundraiser, you already know the hardest part isn't the show. It's selling the seats. Theaterfiller changes that. In minutes, you're set up with your own ticketing page, QR code delivery, and a door scanner. No technical headaches, no middleman taking a cut of your night. Your event, your tickets, your revenue. Go to theaterfiller.com and fill every seat.
On a breezy Saturday evening along St. Laurent Boulevard, the lights of the historic Rialto Theater flicker to life as the Fantasia Film Festival marks its 30th edition. Inside, a mosaic of fans, students from the nearby Sagep, seasoned genre lovers, and families clutching handmade lanterns, file into the velvet-lined seats, their excitement humming like a low-frequency score. Behind the curtain, volunteers in bright orange vests hand out popcorn scented with caramel and a sprinkle of cinnamon, the aroma weaving through the lobby where a mural of iconic monsters stretches across the brick wall. One moment captures the spirit of the night. A 9-year-old girl, eyes wide, approaches director Sofia Alvarez after the screening of her debut fantasy short. She shyly offers a crumpled sketch of a dragon she drew, and Alvarez smiles, tucking the drawing into her pocket as a promise that imagination will always find a home here. The crowd erupts in applause, not just for the film, but for the shared belief that stories can lift us all. Tonight, the city feels a little brighter, and we all share that glow.
On a Saturday afternoon on St. Laurent Boulevard, the clatter of plates and the hum of conversation drift through the open-air patios of 4 eateries. At Le Petit Miroir, chef-owner Amélie Dubois greets regulars with a smile, shaping a beet-infused tart that catches the light. Down the street, the kitchen at Maison du Soleil erupts with laughter as a sous chef flips a caramelized pork belly, the scent drifting onto the sidewalk where a family of 3 watches. Across town in the Plateau, Hairot Tanaka's tiny ramen bar serves steaming bowls that fog the windows, each slurp a celebration of craft. Near the village, the pop-up garden at La Table Verte offers a garden-to-plate salad glistening with edible flowers, the colors mirroring the sunset behind the stone facades. When a national culinary survey announced its list of the 10 best new restaurants in Canada, 4 of those coveted spots bore Montreal's name. The moment the names were read on live radio, a collective cheer rose from the terraces, a reminder that the city's culinary heartbeat is louder than ever. Montreal's flavor is a quiet promise that good food brings us together.
Thank you, Montreal, for joining us tonight. That incredible world record swim by Summer McIntosh reminds us why we love this city's talent. Stay tuned for more stories tomorrow, from local breakthroughs to the big headlines shaping our community. I'm Marc Beaumont, and we'll see you then.